My name is Dorothy, and I had really romanticized the idea of coming to the Emerald City, like out of The Wizard of Oz.
My parents are actually out here, so I was moving back from Kenya, and I was just like, let me get that free rent.
I had a friend who had a spare room, and I was only supposed to be here for about 2 weeks. It was a fun trip that turned into just falling in love.
I've lived in Seattle for 6 months.
I've lived in Seattle for 8 months.
2.5 years.
More than 15 years now.
I still consider myself a transplant, even though I moved here in 2001.
I was born in San Jose, California.
I was born in the Midwest.
Missoula, Montana.
Veracruz, Mexico.
Columbus, Ohio.
In Los Angeles, California.
Selma, Alabama.
I was born in New York, but I grew up in Nairobi.
The amount of green, I guess in my head I always pictured just like super drab Frasier.
That you need to fear sunny days during the winter. Because the clouds aren't there, and that insulating factor isn't there, it's like, it's cold.
The lack of diversity, the overwhelming amount of white people everywhere. I think that's kind of hard to get used to.
I don't think I've lived anywhere where I was so hyper aware of my difference as a person of color and as my difference as a Black person. And since I moved here, I have really embraced the concept of Black acknowledgement, the upwards head nod.
How much people care about what's happening around them in the community, in the country, in the world.
I love how people are really thoughtful about progressive issues for the most part. It's not perfect, but people do seem to really try.
The resilience of Seattle is amazing. The heart that they have to keep fighting the good fight should be admired.
I moved here from New York, and when I was in New York, I just felt super stressed out all the time. I find that the cadence of life here in Seattle is much more reasonable, much more toned down, much more subdued, and much more conducive to a happy life. And I think that that's something that I really try to embrace as someone who is just at baseline more anxious than the average person.
Every single day that I stay here, I feel like I could stay here another day.
Yeah, I do plan on Seattle being a long-time home. Growth of our economy and the size of the city and the climate and how beautiful this place is and like the awesome restaurant scene and all the things that are happening here. I think it's one of the best places in America to live.
I've lived in a lot of different cities for up to 2 years, some 4, but I didn't really feel a sense of home in any of those cities. And when I landed in Seattle and went to work, on that first Monday, I did know that this was home.